Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And once again, family matters first. So, therefore, I'm late this evening. Health is in order, which is part of the wealth tools that we're going to be talking about tonight. And so much more, because once again, you're going to need those assets, not liabilities, and protection once you have those assets. Build now, ladies and gentlemen, because another 6 months, 7 months, a year later, it's going to be even harder than it is now. But you're going to learn some tools. You already have those tools at your disposal. And again, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. The first things first, because we have so many people out here that need help. When you know 8 out of 10 individuals are living paycheck to paycheck, that is a bad situation. Therefore, findhelp.org. Put in your zip code if you're in the United States. That could help you out tremendously. There's lots of nonprofit organizations that are out here looking to help you, but you don't know about them. But when you go to findhelp.org, you find out about all the help that you never knew about is there. Make the phone calls and see. Some are free, some are not. They might cost a little bit of change, but it goes all over the place. That's awesome. They go to, if you need caregiving help, that could be their mental health, that could be their job training, that's their bus passes, subway passes, that's there, and a whole lot more. MRI, you need one, that's even there. I know it gets kind of crazy. There's help in America, but the United States government and state governments don't like to tell people about the funding and the nonprofits that can help you. So findhelp.org, that's where you go. Second things, first things, because that was the first. This is going to be the second because we're talking about wealth tools. Number one, health is wealth. That's all you need to know. You do not want to be in this healthcare system. And if you think you should be in the healthcare system, I know we have nurses and doctors and people watching this channel, but they know what I'm talking about. There is not enough people to cater heavily to individuals when there is an environment where nurses, CNAs, doctors, and there's tens of hundreds of patients, different facilities, different operational guidelines. There's all kind of different things. So you want to invest in your health just like you would invest in job training, just like you would invest in whenever you try to learn something new. You have to invest, and your health is no different, except one thing is major. Your body will fail you. Whereas you want to study something that's random and does not really matter to your body, okay, that's great. But if you don't understand how your body operates and the necessary nutrients that it needs, and eating the right foods, consuming whatever it is you're consuming, that matters greatly. You might say, I'm 25, I'm 35, I'm 55, I'm 105. I've been doing it this way. All I can say is, whatever you're doing, make sure you try to avoid being in any healthcare scenario here in America. Just saying. And I don't even know what else is around the world, but a lot of places around the world, they do have health care for all in their countries. So, I mean, it's a little bit different. I don't know what they're doing, but all I'm saying is just better be safe than sorry. All right. Because they are charging people to have insurance. So one of the wealth tools is your health. You have to invest in your health. You might say, okay, I'm going to do this and do that. Fine. You can always get outside of the reservation, but you better eat healthy, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, you're going to be at the mercy of this health care plan or lack thereof that you're going to be able to afford. All right, let's go. Now, that's the first wealth tool. Let me see who's in the house tonight. I see post-retirement travel is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday late night edition. And he's an investor. He's in the house. I'm sure he's doing the salsa dance for the last month because up, down with the stock market means he wins. Wheel strategy means he's winning. It doesn't matter. He's put himself in position to win no matter what. And part of the wealth tools he has as well. We'll get into that. And I humbly appreciate that icon next to your name, which means he's a member of the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Not just a subscriber, but a member of the channel. I appreciate that, post-retirement travel. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. And that's what we do here. We try to help you, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you see in the chat room already one of the other wealth tools, getting your liabilities in order. You need to reduce your debt ASAP because that 120-ton gorilla is going to come crashing down on the United States citizenry. There will be a day that's going to be in infamy. And I don't want you caught holding bags, the wrong bags. You need to make sure you have assets. Assets pay you, in case you're new here. And once again, I'll repeat, assets pay you without you working for it. So, side note of the wealth tools is real estate. So we'll get into that because that's an offshoot. Because that's what you're going to use to create wealth. All right? Here we go. How about that stock market? Are you tired of winning yet? Eric, nope. I am going to need another truck. First truck is full of nice and sweet stocks. You're going to have to back up another truck. This is exactly the language that I love, ladies and gentlemen. If you have the extra money to disposable income or that duffel bag of cash sitting on standby, you have every reason to build your wealth. And these are part of the wealth tools that you're going to need. All right. What? I get something from, okay, I see. I got something that popped up. I don't like that. But nonetheless, the wealth tools, ladies and gentlemen, the smart credit tool also helps you monitor your credit, tells you which day is the best day to pay down your debt. Also, it keeps track of your debt. So this one suite keeps track of your credit score, your hiring index scores, insurance scores. It keeps track of a lot of things. And in the back office, they also help you to send out letters in case you have some sort of disputes with a creditor. That can help you out. Also, they have identity fraud help up to $1 million. And it not only applies to you who's in smart credit, it also applies to everybody in your family living in your household that their address is your household on their credit file. That also helps with their identity theft problems. So that is smart credit. There you go. It's a monitoring system in reality, but that does help you get your debt in order. You just got to put stuff in and then you can look at it in an objective way. No guesswork. You can see where your money's going instead of investing. Because after you invest in your health, you need to back up the truck and be in equities. That's number 2 on the list. Number three is going to be real estate of some sort where you receive money, not where you have to work for it and pay your mortgage. That's a liability, ladies and gentlemen. That's the wrong equation in the reverse order. You should buy something that you invest in that you receive money for passively. That should be where your first investment should lie. It should not be tying up 40 to 50% of your income on a place that you're going to live in. That is what we are in right now in our environment in the 2020s. Your parents, your grandparents, they didn't have to give up 50% of their income pretty much to pay for the property tax, the insurance tax, the mortgage. All right? Not. So they were able to have disposable income to make investments. Just saying. All right, let's see who else we got here. Brian P's in the house. Mr. Dividend has arrived. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Happy day, Eric. Thank you. Happy day to you. I hope all is well with you and your family. We trying to make sure it is, man. I'm telling you, you got to be on these guys. In fact, I'll give you guys a little story shortly. I just came back from the hospital. Happy day, SSN. Check out your emails. Uh-oh. We got some more, problems, ladies and gentlemen. These recalls out here that the United States public does not get, and they don't understand when you deregulate USDA, FDA, corporations are allowed to do toxic chemicals in your ground, in your water. You ease those and you have take away inspectors. You limit inspectors, reduce the number of inspectors. All of a sudden, you're going to have a food supply that's going to keep getting more and more tainted, unfortunately. And there's nothing you can do about it unless you get on the health is wealth train. And sometimes you have to start thinking about, whoa, let me do my own. Or you can go to the store and start sourcing things a little better. But nonetheless, this is the thing that is drives me crazy. All right. I was just talking to somebody. In fact, I won't even talk about that. I was at the hospital today, go see my aunt. And all of a sudden, there's this drug called Cefepime, Cefepime. Go look at the black box on there. And the black box is it could mess with your mind, right? Neurological problems. And she already has Alzheimer's. So in this case, and it doesn't affect everybody, but it could, and in this case, it affects my aunt. So they had her on something called I don't remember all the drugs, but it was like Maripin. That's an antibiotic too. Maripin, she was just fine. Walk in today, I see Cefepime in there, and my uncle, we've told them no Cefepime. Walk in today, Cefepime. And obviously, she's responding accordingly. No response, hardly. In 24 hours, goes from eyes wide open, alert, awake, responsive, to non-responsive. And they're the same antibiotics that they started her on, this Mariposin or Maripin, whatever it's called, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I roll in today and I'm like, what is that? That's a no-go zone. Zero go zone. It hurts people that may even have mental capacity reduced already. You don't want them on that to reduce it even more. That's why I always say trying to kill people is a thing with these people. All right? So, and then the doctor says, well, I got to talk to the infectious disease doctor. I'm like, what? Why? This is crazy. They got these gatekeepers out here. So that's one thing. Second thing, because she's had these, when people have the tubes, the plastic tubes that's stuck in your arm so they can actually put blood in or draw blood or put in medication, whatever, right? Well, guess what happened? That caused fungus from the plastic in the bloodstream. So now they have to give fungal antibiotic. 2 days ago, they start the fungal antibiotic. Today, the nurse comes in and I said, hey, where's because there's 3 antibiotics. I go, where's this other one? Oh, it was discontinued. I said, okay, so where's the blood work? When did they do labs? She just got on it like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So did they do labs like yesterday or the day before? Could check. No, no, I don't see labs. That what I mean is they had to pull her blood, right? Just to check and make sure that it's clear. So without doing that, why doesn't she not have the fungal antibiotic in her bloodstream to fight it? This is what I'm saying. If you leave your loved ones at the hospital or any other facility, you're not doing them any love. Don't act like you're doing love. You need somebody to go and check on these people. It's no joke out here. No joke. Especially in elderly people because they go, oh well, they're elderly. If something happens to them, no big deal. That's the way I feel is the way they act around here. Just so you know. This is bad stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Very bad. Oh, come on. Okay. This is what I'm afraid of all the time. I can't log in. Oh man. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I need to do something. Okay, we like these dividends. ARR, IVR, passive income, ladies and gentlemen. That's part of the wealth tools. You need passive income from several different sources. All right. Here we go. That's why I couldn't find it. I hate these gatekeeping things where you have to have authenticators. You got to do all this stuff because if you can't get in, then what? It's like you're blocked. So anyhow, thank you for your patience while I got to this. But I just had to tell you the story because this is very, very serious out here. I can't believe it. And there's people who are in hospitals or in facilities and their family doesn't even stop by to even check on them. And you don't even know what these doctors are doing. It's almost, I don't mean to scare people, but it's almost like they're doing like an experiment and trying to kill people at the same time. That's what it's like to me. That's what it feels like, just so you understand. All right. I know we have nurses, doctors, and all that who say, no, Eric, that's not the case. We just got too many patients or something, whatever. I really don't, I understand. But the fact of the matter is, as individuals, as a family, if somebody's in the hospital and they're going to be there for any past 2 days, you need to show up and find out what's going on. And you need to show up often. If you can't show up, well, you should try and show up at least once a day if you can. It gets tiring if they're there for 20 days or 15 or 30. But the point is you need to be there often, different times, whatever you can do. Other people, family members, just need to stop by and inquire what's happening because it's crazy out here. Crazy. Crazy. These guys are man, just I can't even get with this. Wealth tools, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about tonight. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If anybody has any wealth tools, you already heard from one person saying he's backing up the truck. He's been backing up the truck, actually. You have to back up the truck, ladies and gentlemen. Equities is the last bastion that the wealthy have. Let me explain to you. This is very simple. This is not even, you don't even need analysis, really. The point is, if your customers cannot buy your product, right? Of what, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million people lose their job. You lost all that buying power. So now your business has less revenues. I'm referring to the Millionaire and Billionaire Boys Club. Their businesses have less revenue. Okay, they don't care because they have their money in equities and businesses, and therefore they can write off losses from their business. But you know what they can't write off? They cannot write off production and people buying their product. That is the thing. They can say, I have a salary that I give people, so that costs the company money. Okay. The problem, though, is if you made $1 billion this year and all of a sudden it's 100 million, what's going to happen? From a billion, 100 million. If that's the case, who's going to be going? Employees. You're out on the street. All they do is go, well, hell, we lost money this year. We get to write it off. So what? No skin off their nose because they have equities and other assets that pay them. That's why you need to be flexible too, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. All right, here we go. Oh, this is right to the point, courtesy of Brian P., Mr. Dividend. This is right to the point, ladies and gentlemen. Florida doctor faces manslaughter charge for allegedly removing wrong organ during surgery. Manslaughter means the person died. A manslaughter charge is not enough because that means the doctor may serve 3 to 5 years for killing somebody. All right? That's and here's and remember what I told you. These people are not that caring enough. You okay, let me explain. I haven't all I know is manslaughter means somebody died. So that's what I'm assuming, okay? He removing the patient's liver instead of his spleen during a 2024 surgery. All right. So we knew that. We knew somebody died. But my point I'm trying to make is you guys understand in a doctor environment, in a hospital environment, when they're doing surgery, they bring a person in, they put a wristband on you. As soon as they put a wristband on you, it has a code. So they check everybody, right? So the fact of the matter is, the name of the patient is on the bracelet. So when they take that laser and they click it, then that person should show up on the screen for who they have surgery for, right? So that is one of the tests. So each phase, like when the anesthesiologist comes, click, right? When the nurse comes, click, right? So how do you get all the way to surgery? You go to get the person, put them in pre-op. You're checking all their vitals. You're checking to make sure this is the person. You're checking everything. How do you go all the way into surgery and have the wrong person? This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to happen, right? But that's the point, that you could have 5, 6 people all not find somehow this is the wrong patient. I mean, come on. This is what I'm saying. This is crazy. This is crazy. Um, that resulted in catastrophic blood loss and the patient's death on the patient was, here we go, 70 years old. See? See? This is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't expect the person to be older, elderly, but this is what I'm saying. This is no shocker. Because the older you are, the less care they give a damn about. That's what I'm observing. I've been to freaking 6, 7 facilities. All right. Plus, more than that, when I was going around to check facilities to see where my aunt should go to, and I wouldn't even put no family, no friend, no family member, nobody I know in 3/4 of these places. Just so you know. All right. That's crazy. Wow. This is sad. Okay. Every now and then, you guys know what we do here. We put in the information so you can go check it out yourself. We put in the chat room. All right. We put it in the chat room. All right. Sorry to hear that about your aunt. Is she using Medicare or you guys have a private plan? Can she use other medical facilities? No, she's at the hospital right now. Oh, man. You guys don't even let me get started about Medicare. All right. So she's on Medicare and she has TRICARE for Life as a backup. All right. So, no, you have to go. Okay. So if you have, most people, if you have health care, it doesn't matter. You only have certain amount of times or lengths that you can be in emergency environment, length of time that you can actually be in the hospital, length of time that if you're not in the hospital, which is tier one primary care, right? Then your next move is after they say, well, your time is up, you don't have coverage, you have to pay out of pocket, all right? Or a portion of care is what generally happens. And so then you hit your deductibles, then they start doing things like, okay, we got to get you moved out because you're not in tier one anymore. So now you're going to be moved down to, let's call it the skilled nursing facility. So now your insurance would have to cover, but most insurances aren't going to cover 100%. Now this starts being costly. But that little costly situation is costly. They're charging people $5,000, $10,000 like a week. I mean, it gets costly, which, by the way, the wealth tools you need is a trust. That's part of the wealth tools. Because here's the funny factor. If you go into a place you can't pay, and Medicare is a whole nother ball game too. If you can't pay and you have assets, they'll take your assets. Even Medicare will take your assets. This is why a lot of people have an irrevocable trust, because your assets are the trust assets and not your trust. So therefore, if you need to go to a hospital and use your Medicare, you're not going to have to sell any assets. All right? Just saying, this is cold system that we're in. Very cold system. So if you get sick and you're on Medicaid, Medicare, and they find out that you got 2 houses, 3 houses, got assets, equities, all of a sudden up to a certain number, all of a sudden they're going to say, hey, you need to get rid of those before we're going to cover you. It's cold out here, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm a proponent of health care for all. Simple. Like most developed countries, simple. That eliminates people not going to the hospital because they don't have coverage, taking care of their health because they can't go because they're going to tell them, oh, well, we need whatever, $250. People say, well, I'll just wait. I'll just suffer. It's no big deal. And they just let whatever's happening to them, it's no biggie. But inside your body, there's damage. And that's where the problem comes in. And people wait because they don't have coverage. EV Place, another investor's in the house. He has the wealth tools, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one that gave us the Castle Rock REO. If you want property, homes, yeah, they're going to be a rehab more times than not. But hey, if you want that property, ladies and gentlemen, 50 grand, 40 grand, 60 grand, 100 grand, 80 grand, all over the United States, Castle Rock. REO.com. And EV Place, thank you again for being here with that icon next to your name, which I humbly appreciate. And he brings his tagline after I say welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night, late night edition. And he brings his tagline, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Yep, we're doing well, but we got to be diligent, especially when you have loved ones in a healthcare environment. Good to hear that. She's totally covered. She has the best medical combination. Whatever Medicare doesn't cover, TRICARE will pick up the remaining tab. That will be my scenario when I get Medicare. Post-retirement travel, I have bad news for you. No, they will not pick up 100% of the tab. TRICARE, I'm referring to. That's right. Oh, hold on. You are different. You're not the spouse. You may be different. The spouse also has TRICARE for life. But no, a bill came to the House. TRICARE says, oh, we only cover 300 a day, 400 a day. They didn't pick up the second part. Medicare paid 95% of it. It left like 6 grand. TRICARE didn't cover the 6 grand. FYI. All right? Just so you know. And by the way, let me give you guys some things not right now. Let me just, if first of all, if you have Medicare, you can only be in the hospital, tier 1 as I call it, LTAC, tier 1. You can only be there so long. You have a certain number of days that you can be there that Medicare will cover. Then you have lifetime days. That's right. You got lifetime days. After your lifetime days run out, you don't get those back. Rule 2. After you've been in tier 1, LTAC, if you reach whatever the maximum amount of days are, you're not going to be covered no more. Okay? Especially after you've ran out of your lifetime days. You will not be covered. Guess what? They're going to be moving you down to a skilled nursing facility, which is not even a level 1 LTAC, right? NILS, a skilled nursing facility, is lower level. Again, 1 in 20, 1 in 15 nurses. Okay? Just no different than an LTAC, quite frankly. But the point is, that's the ratio CNA nurse, right? First problem. Second problem, they don't have the same facilities because it's not like a hospital. So you have that bank of things like oxygen, well, 2 things: oxygen for a mask, oxygen for sucking things up, all the things you normally see a bank of, you will not see in a skilled nursing facility. All right? So now you're way down. It's not way, but that's the next level down. You can, if you cannot go back to LTAC with Medicare unless you are in a lower level facility for 3 months. All right? Now, if it's an emergency, that's a different story. All right? But all I'm saying is the coverages start acting weird. And if you don't have a second like a TRICARE, then you will not even have any other help. You're going to be in medical debt. Even though you still pay a premium to have Medicare, right? Just like you have to pay a premium when you have private care. It's a cold world out here. And these guys are doing mumbo jumbo all over the place. The facilities are trying to, they know they have it where they go, okay, their time is running out. We have to make a move. We can't keep this patient here, and we have to move them to a lower level. Lower level is even scarier. It's bad out here. It's bad, ladies and gentlemen. You're bad. It's bad. Brian P., you were right about it. Eric, yeah, man. Live in it, man. Live in it. What? Are you serious? Damn, after 30 years active duty, this is what we get. That is correct, man. God bless America. We'll call TRICARE to see how that works then. Yeah, you better call TRICARE, man, because it all depends on your care. So basically, Medicare covers mostly everything, right? But there's always something that it may not. And so that may not part, if a person like my aunt's in the hospital for, let's say, 30 days, that thing, that extra whatever it was, and TRICARE only paid a few $100s. So he gets a bill for $6,000. And TRICARE says, well, we only cover like 200 or 300 per day of that. It's not the 6 grand fully, so I don't know what the actual number ends up being, but the family got to come out of pocket. Thousands, not 1,000, not 2,000, not 3, about 4 grand. All right. Just so you understand, TRICARE may not cover. Oh, and TRICARE has rules. If you're at the house, you, if you have a home care, right? You TRICARE, you're pretty much toast. So if you have a loved one that gets ill and you have Medicare covers, like can have their own bed, they can have their own wheelchair, they can have their own shower stuff, the person can walk around. But if there's anything happening at your house, TRICARE is not going to cover it because they have a whole bunch of stuff like if it's in home care, we don't cover it. Oh yeah, it's a nasty work out here. Nasty work. Nasty work. It's nasty out here. Nasty, because I was trying to get a rehab for my aunt, and I thought TRICARE would do it. Oh no, she's at home? No, we don't have that. We're not sending nobody out to do this. I was like, what are you talking about? That's like normal. Oh no, we don't handle that. Crazy. This happened to my dad years ago, man. I'm sorry to hear this, man. I'm very sorry. Uh-oh, we have somebody in the medical field in the house. Hopefully I'm not offending, but it's the situation at hand. Welcome, Tamara Larry, to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night, late night edition, and investors here. And she brings her tagline, hello all. And speaking of investors, this is part of the wealth tools you have to invest, ladies and gentlemen. I used to have this chart that showed as a person moved up from just ordinary buying a house, the chart flow up when they increased their wealth. When they increased their wealth, the number 2 things that they had, equities and businesses. The amount of wealth on their house was like, if the scale was 1 to 100, it was like 5. The equities and the businesses were like half as they moved up the wealth chart. So those are the wealth tools you should be thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. And Tamara Larry brings her tagline, hello all. Very hello all to you and the fam as well. Hopefully everybody's out there doing great. Okay. So anyhow, the wealth tools, ladies and gentlemen. I went round and round, but that's exactly what's going down. It's crazy out here. Uh-oh, uh-oh. No, 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 no. I didn't want to do that. It's crazy out here, dangerous out here as well. So wherever you're watching from, I'm putting in you should have your smart credit should be up. Don't forget, if you still haven't bought equities with your stocks, you should get in the game. If you want to do passive income, that's great. Oh, wow. What's going on here? Uh-oh, I messed up. Just a second. I didn't realize that this was too long for people on other platforms. Because we got to get our smart credit down, because we need you guys to get your credit right, get your debt down, because remember, you got until December 31st to get that 775 credit score. Along the way, you're going to be offered crazy things, so take advantage of that 0% for 15 months credit card, 0% for 21, 0% for 24. Do it, ladies and gentlemen, but you need that credit score to be higher. All right? That'll help you out. At least you'll be able to clear, at least, just hear me out. Some people are going, what are you talking? Let's just say you had $1,000, but that $1,000 account you paid 24%. So now part of what you pay based on average daily balance, 24% could actually be 30% is all I'm saying. But the point is, so what you need to understand is that you need to get your 1,000 at 24% down to 1,000 at 0%. So if $1,000, I'll just use a random number. Let's just say you pay $35 a month or whatever, right? So in order to pay that off, how much interest are you giving every year? You're giving 300 or 24%. So you're giving $240 per year, which is basically $20 a month. So when you're paying $35 a month, you're only paying $15 toward the balance, right? Now you see why everybody offers credit cards, because you're not hardly paying anything by paying the minimum. Versus if you had 0% and the same 1,000 and the same 35, you have 99.9% of it going to the balance. Now you can easily extrapolate what it goes to because you divide 1,000 by 35, right? So it's going to be what, 30 some months or something, right? So if that, it won't even be that. But at the other one with $24, it's going to take you 15 goes into 1,000 how many times? That's if you didn't even charge anything. So you can easily see we're 7, 10. So now you're doing 70. You have 70 payments versus roughly 30 or less, could be less. So that's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need your credit to get in order. Now, if you need a little bit of help, we talked about smart credit systems. There's not really anything else that I can add to it. I don't do the credit anymore. So those are some of the things that you need to think about. All right. Those are the wealth teams that you need. Real estate for passive income. Oh no, 7-Eleven sandwiches are recalled. This is getting ridiculous out here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is safe. Holy smokes. Are you kidding me right now? Chicken, 7-Eleven sandwiches, wraps recalled because of listeria. 7-Eleven brand sandwiches, subs, and wraps are being recalled in Canada because of contamination in Listeria monocytogenes. The products are distributed at 7-Eleven stores in Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan. So any of you that are in Canada, it doesn't say anything about America. And we do only have a few people watch from Canada. So you never know. Hopefully this saves some lives up there. But this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. You got to make sure that you're going to be able to take care of yourself as you get older. All right, just keep that in mind. It's bad out here. I can't even give you. Some people would say, "Well, you're being a little bit of paranoid." No, no, no. Just go look yourself. Go. You know what? I tell everybody, go for a tour. Just pick any random ones that you go to 3 places. You walk in, say, I want to have a tour of the facility. I have someone elderly that might need a place to stay. And I just want to see what's going on. And never pay attention to shiny floors, shiny rooms painted nicely and all that crap. Don't worry about the restaurant and yada. No, you need to be paying attention to personnel. How many doctors are coming through every day to check on their patients? Because remember, when there's people in facilities, doctors come by, right? How many nurses to patients ratio? CNA to nurses or CNA to patient. You need to know this. They have a maximum in Nevada, 20. They can go, any facility can go up to 20 patients per nurse. And like I told you guys before, you heard me say this. Even if you spent 3 minutes in the room, which is a travesty, you're 8 doors down. That's 24 minutes. There's one person sitting or may not be sitting at the nurse's station. That, if something goes off in any person's rooms, the odds of somebody being there within a minute or two is slim to none. Because remember, they're in another room in the hallway. So that means somebody has to be paying attention if you have cameras. And even then, you're going to need a panel or something that you can see people's vitals or something. That's not how everybody operates. Not even close. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Okay. Now, back to assets protection, because the asset protections, along with, you got to build the wealth tools, right? You got to have the real estate that's passively earning you income. Again, we can talk about single family properties, not my favorite. You should be looking at the duplex, which is 2 units attached, triplex, 3 units attached, quadplex, four, because if you have able to find a place that generates revenue, you can live in one side and get an FHA loan. This is very simple. We've talked about this for years. Or you can go another route, which is going to be very, very difficult because a lot of people now can't afford their houses. So now they are doing short term rentals. Short term rentals is all over the place. And they're going to be more coming, right? Because people now are trying to turn their residential unit into a money making venture instead of a commercial. It was never commercial. So that creates a problem because, again, American citizens don't have money to spend. So you have less people going into short term rentals overall. I'm not referring to certain markets. We're just talking about overall. And if you're in one of those markets that they trying to shortcut it by saying no more short-term rentals in our city, or you can only do 14 days a year, crazy stuff like this, because they understand that operating a business in a residential neighborhood is never a good thing. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. After scoring FDA clearance, Prana Surgical CEO targets strategic rollout for surgical device. Is this going to be something good? Johnson and Johnson for FDA clearance surgical device. Unfortunately, it's on a Houston Business Journal, so I can't see that one. Yeah, this is just crazy right here. Hold on a second. I got to put something in the chat room. All right, I'm not going to be on too long because you guys got to get these wealth tools right. You got to get your credit right, reduce your debt. You got to have that 0% interest rate credit, whether it's 9 months, 6 months, 12 months. Just get it and pay that down. Shift stuff to it. Don't use the other thing. Pay that one down. That's how it goes. You got to be disciplined out here because otherwise you're going to be sunk, just like the United States eventually one day. Because you can't keep going 39 trillion in debt, 40 trillion in debt, 41 trillion in debt, and you back with nothing. That's very bad. And you're going to need more people's money, United States citizens' money, because you're not going to be able to borrow. And even if you are going to borrow, that means there's interest owed. We're already over $1 trillion a year. That could have been healthcare, ladies and gentlemen. Healthcare for all. This is crazy. Actually, you could have stopped world hunger by now, too. That's how crazy spending $1 trillion a year is for weaponry. You're seeing how well that weaponry in today's society is not so good. Over here in this fight with Iran, the wealth tools here are everybody that has those bullets and beans and airplanes, who's ever a part of the manufacturing process, they're making out like bandits. Meanwhile, the American citizens and their grandkids and great grandkids have an IOU with interest of 4%, 4.5%. Start doing the numbers, and then you have less people that have a job to pay taxes. Then you have to come up with another plan. Asset protection. Like I said, you want to put things out of reach into protection packages. There's several you can do if you don't like the irrevocable trust, because once you put it in there, it is it's not your asset anymore. Your trustee actually has the asset, and they can do with it whatever they want. So you got to have somebody as a trustee that is above reproach, which is hard when somebody's holding assets that they can play with. I'm just saying, human nature seems to be that way. So anyhow, just keep all of this in mind. Protection. Protection can come from several different things. Just like if you have a business that's an LLC, which is the easiest form, it's a pass-through taxation wise, where you're going to have self-employment tax of 15.3%, which is hefty. Plus you owe additional taxes for person. right? Depending on which category you're going to be in. Or you need an S Corp, so you're an employee of the company. So therefore, the corporation pays you a paycheck, which is really the ideal scenario. Because then you have your payroll taxes taken out. And now your business can actually put money into a 401k, have their own 401k. You as an employee can put money into the company 401k and then have your own solo 401k. Win win. And since you own the company, you can actually put a match. I want to match 3% of my employees' investment into the company 401k. Hey, just saying. That's how the get dangerous with the wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Because then I won't get into it even more, but we can. All of a sudden, you might want to start. You could do you. You've put yourself in the wealth category where you could say, my 401k has X amount of dollars, Fidelity. Maybe I want to start something, but maybe since it is my company, my money in reality, I'm the only employee, along with your wife automatically becomes an employee, by the way. So your wife could actually invest in the 401, just even if she don't even work there. You can do all kind of crazy. Just letting you guys know, right? So after you could say, hey, can I borrow against this money I have in here? Now remember, you could have 30,000 in there by yourself. I'm just saying. Your company could have another 150,000 in there. So you have 100,000 in there. And now instead you go, well, I need X amount of dollars. I need some real estate. Okay, we'll kick you down. How much is it? You need like 50 G's, 40 G's? Okay, cool. Instead of you saying, I need that, and it all depends if it makes sense to you, if it's going to work. But again, if you're using the money to buy an asset that gives you back money, then you know where you're going to be paying it back from. So in actuality, it's a win-win. Just saying. There's several different things you can do when you have assets. Just ask Elon Musk. How many times have you heard him say, I'm going to put up my stock to go buy, like the latest one, Twitter? But he still had other investors like Ellison from Oracle, his son. They put up some money so he can buy it. They're all investors, him and his rich buddy friends. Where they got the money from? Probably stocks. Just saying, the same thing. It's not like they had to come out of pocket. Come on now. All right? They're using collateral. They're using stock money. Because they can sell their shares of stock, right? They're the primary shareholders. So they can turn their shares into money. Wealth tools mean think about what you're doing out here. A lot of people are going in reverse. They're out here going, I need credit, I need credit, I need credit. No, you need to reduce your debt, buy assets, so then that pays for your debt if you accumulate any. All right? Thank you for checking the emails. No problem, man. There's more. There's more. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. That's just nothing compared to some things. I'm going to go pull up something else. Kidney disease drug. Massive eye drop no, no, no. This is dangerous. Some people keep these eye drops for their glaucoma or other factors. They need to have these drops like once a day, some people twice a day. And this better not be the one that starts with the O, because that would be very bad if these are on the recalls. Let's go see. Which drug is it? As in early April, no infections from the recalled eye drops have been reported. Okay, good. California company, more than 3.1 million bottles of lubricating eye drops because it had not properly tested. It could not prove whether the products were sterile. Are you kidding me right now? This is insanity. The company KC Pharmaceuticals initiated the recall on March 3rd, 2026. Prescription drugs. This could be the one with I can't remember the name of it. Oh man, here they all are, ladies and gentlemen. They're not testing any of these. Dry eye relief eye drops, artificial tears, sterile lubricant eye drops, sterile eye drops. Oh man, this is top care. This is the brand you might see in a little CVS or something, Walgreens. Top care. That's Kroger, which means, ooh, that's in a lot of stores. Ladies and gentlemen, if you use eye drops, you better check this out. No, nothing's happened yet, though. Just keep that in mind. Nothing has happened yet, according allegedly. But if nothing happened, then why would anybody be talking about it? Right? Come on. What are these guys out here doing? Trying to play people for a fool. Why are you talking about it then if nothing happened? Something happened. But the fact is, no testing on the market. You are being tested, ladies and gentlemen. You are the testees. You're the one. Our government, you don't know where you live, do you? You should check out the history of America actually poisoning people, checking out gases and seeing how people react and blowing up things with bombs, knowing that the fallout goes across neighborhoods, putting tainted products in your water supply so they're drinking it and they're watching you from afar to see what happens to people. This is your country, America, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know what they do out here. People don't pay attention. They're too busy living paycheck to paycheck on all levels. Because in the old days, when everything's fine, you don't question anything. You only start questioning things when things start happening. Like when people don't get water out of their taps anymore and the data center moved into town a year ago and your electrical bill has 3-4x'd because their electricity is subsidized by you. See, this is the stuff. Who in their right mind would have allowed this? But this is America. And it's not only America, this is humans. They do to people. It's terrible out here. All right, let's go. Anybody want to add anything to the wealth tools? By the way, speaking of wealth tools, I have to talk about something because, again, I have conversations with people and we were talking about Ocean Bay. Post-retirement travel knows Ocean Bay. It's in Bavaro. Ocean Bay came out like 8 years ago. And I just saw something where they have units on the water. They're about 3,000 square feet, yes. In Bavaro, Los Corrales, the front units are selling, of course they are, 875 grand to 975 grand in Los Corrales. It's on the border, I think. It could be El Cordacito, but it might be Los Corrales. But either way, I cannot even believe they're even, I can't. It's 197 units in the complex. The other units are not that pricey, just the ones up front because they have ocean view and they're huge. They're basically large units, like 3,000 square feet, I believe. The point is, there's nothing there. A fitness, okay, it's on the beach, Bavaro Beach. It has a gym, pools, and allegedly a spa. That's it. That's it. No restaurants, no mini marts, no special nothing. That's it. And I'm trying to figure out who in their right mind would buy this. Overpay. I just, and it's 8 years later, by the way. It's still not open. It seems to be done, and I don't know the situation because I haven't checked out Ocean Bay. I'm pretty sure somebody has something on YouTube somewhere. But the fact of the matter is, That is crazy. This is crazy. 8 years. 2018, they were marketing this Ocean Bay thing. And it was supposed to be finished in 2022. I know it's 2026. I got you. I got you. Just saying. Just saying. All right. And they're still not done because it's not open yet, as far as I know. All right. So the wealth tools mean you need real estate because it goes up in value fast. And so it's not only goes up fast, the appreciation matters. So if you have a house, 420, I'll use 430,000, the average price, right? And the house goes up 10%. That means to you that's a $43,000, right? Whereas if you had an account that had 10,000 in there and you got 10%, that's a grand. But that account doesn't appreciate based on thin air. Homes and commercial real estate appreciate based on factors. Commercial real estate, as long as I have tenants and I rent at a certain number, that gives me the value of the property. So that's why a lot of rich people like commercial. When people used to pay their lease agreements, now people default because it's a write off. Take them to court. So what? Because it's a lease agreement. But nonetheless, that's why people like build commercial properties, because simply raising the rent $100 means you've increased the value of the property. So that's why that's always been a thing. Residential for people, primary residences, you only win if the value goes up. And I'm sitting here today and something came across the news, and a person has a house that they're selling for 1.8. I'm sorry. Not, it's a 1,080,000 or something. 1,060,000. I think it was somewhere like that. They reduce, since it's not selling, they reduced the house 75,000, almost 1%. It's not 1%, but it's 0.7 or whatever. But the point is, that's a pretty hefty drop. And still no takers. Now, it's a 4,000 square foot house, but still no takers. Because in order to afford that house, you're gonna need like you're gonna have to make 300 G's or something like that. So I mean, that's insanity. Probably not. I haven't ran the numbers, but it's going to be a jumbo loan. So let's just go to a mill. It's now 995,000. So that means for 45, 5, yeah. Oh no, wait. It's not 4.5%, is it? It's going to be 5 or 6 G's, 7 G's. Yeah, it could be, it could be massive. It could be like 6 G's, 65, 70. Yeah, 7,500, which means 21, which means, yeah, you got to be around 300 G's, pretty much. And the reason I'm saying that is because you're already going to be at a 30% situation. So 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times that's 20, 250. And then you have no other credit, right? You're not going to have the fancy car, right? You're not going to have debt on that. So you're going to have to make 300 G's. And then you still have, on that 4,000 square foot house, you're going to have insurances. You're going to have property. I don't even know what the property tax is. It's probably, it's probably going to be, this is why homes are liabilities, quite frankly. I'm just gonna do a certain number for everybody, just so you understand why the liabilities that they want you to buy. Whoa, I messed up. Okay, I'm just gonna. I could probably look it up times. I think it's 1.7. I think that's what it is. That would be if it's 1.7% in taxes. You're going to be at 17,000 a year, which now means now add that add 1,500 a month to that bill that you already took a hold of. So you're around 45 or yeah, you're going to be up there. You're going to be up there. So yeah, you're easily, and we haven't even got to the insurance yet. I don't know what the insurance is, but let's just say it's 5 grand a year. So that's another 400 on top of that. So that's 2 G's on top of the other thing. Yeah, yeah, you got problems out here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, check out the blood test story. Okay, let's get to it. Blood test. What the heck? Don't even. CVS division enters Chapter 11 liquidation sale after 1 billion ruling. Wow, Xanax recall. Oh God. We'll get to it in a second. This is all recalls, ladies and gentlemen, right now. And we still have the wealth tools. Health is wealth, equities, real estate, but in a commercial environment. That's the one. All right. Those are the first thing. Reduce your debts. That's the fourth wealth tool. And health is wealth. So that means your food does matter. You have to invest in that, and you get no return on that investment other than a better life. No hospital bills, limited hospital bills. You should have none, but just saying. All right. So keep that in mind because it costs an arm and a leg out here. FDA 60 tablets, 3 milligram pills with bottles. 60 tablets. This is insanity. They still give people this stuff. All right, here we go. We'll get to the blood story in a second. We got to check this out first. And then, so is there any questions about the wealth, ladies and gentlemen? The wealth tools. I believe you have some at your disposal. You get all these things just slowly, one at a time. You can do it. It's hard work, though. You're going to need disposable income. So therefore, you have to make money from a different source. And as you guys know, we got to be rocking with the Candlestick Trading Bible, right? You should learn how to trade. Study. Just study first. You don't have to get into it. Like, don't be a guinea pig. Don't go, oh, well, since I just started, I can lose money. No, you want to win from day one. It's hard enough to win. Don't worry. You're going to book some losses. Don't worry about that. But you should not be entering into something where it's like, oh, well, we'll just we'll just go with I'll lose a few thousands of dollars just for the heck of it to learn. If you're going to do all that, then you might as well just pay for a class or something that you can actually physically go to and have some sort of person that can show you in hands on if you're willing to lose money like that. So, Candlestick Trading Bible, that's the first thing you probably need to do if you haven't started trading yet. We have Post Retirement Travel here who does his wheel trading strategy, and we went to the internet, went to YouTube on Monday, and sure enough, there's people that talks about this wheel trading strategy that he's been very successful doing. We also have DIM Pals. We have Mr. Dividend here who invests in dividend stocks. And if you want some, go do your own research. JEPQ is pretty ripe right now with 11% return. You want a little more? AGNC. A is in Apple, G is in George, N is in Nancy, C is in Charles. ORC. All these are like real estate investment trust type properties, or they're buying mortgage-backed securities. So, and mortgage-backed means the government is backing it, so they're not going to ever go anywhere. But that does not mean that they could lose money still. All right. But they give you hefty dividends, 11%, 12, 13, 14, 15. We went to ARR and they're at 16.9, maybe 17 by now. ORC recently at 20. I don't know. That was crazy. That's a real estate Orchard Island Capital. You got to do your own research, see if this fits it, because high risk, high rewards, ladies and gentlemen. Prime Wealth that we were talking about, earn 8% per week. Once again, we have problems, ladies and gentlemen. As it turns out, some people weren't able to cash out, so we have to nixay that. So I had to eliminate all the Prime Wealth videos. But I'm still in. They're still giving out, supposedly. We'll find out in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I'm gonna be withdrawing $100, so we'll see how that goes. But that's that's what's happening out here. Xanax, this is crazy. EPA approved pesticides may cause cancer. Oh, you think? Come on, man. Who doesn't know pesticides does not cause cancer? Everybody should know pesticides cause cancer, right? You guys know this, right? This is crazy. Oh, no. It's under food and wine. Oh, more than 100 EPA approved pesticides linked to cancer are still in use in America. Remember what I was telling you? You guys don't know where you live. Holy smokes. The Center for Safety released a report analyzing EPA records that found more than one-third of the 570 unique pesticide chemicals the agency has evaluated for cancer risk since 1985. 200 in total are classified as either possible or likely human carcinogens. Of these 200, 125 are still actively registered for use in home gardens and commercial crops today. This is heartbreaking, man. Like, I don't know, killing you out here. They're trying to kill us out here. They don't care. Now you understand the wealth tools, why it includes health is wealth. These guys they're doing this on purpose. This is not some sort of, oh, it's a mistake. Oh, no, they don't care. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to really understand. And the only bottom line is you got to go to the health people. Now you go in and you have a tumor, and now you have to be treated. And then all of a sudden, those are massive costs. I mean, it's just sad. It's sad out here. I put the links in, ladies and gentlemen, so you can go see for yourself what they're out here doing. You can read it for yourself, because this is what I've been dealing, not so much right now, but we've already known this, right? We've already known this. Yes, a 425K home loan even will putting 20% to avoid PMI. Your loan will be about 2,800. That is correct. Without the 20%, then you need to add PMI on top. Yes, easy, over 3,500 a year. Yep, exactly, exactly, exactly. It gets up there. It starts rapidly going. Home ownership used to be easy in America. That's how they built the middle class, because homes only went up like 1%, 2%, 3%. And then, like I say, Ronald Reagan unleashed this stuff, tax cut, tax breaks, and started doing some things. And then that's why home prices all of a sudden started to increase heavily in the 80s. And then that's why you had a massive savings and loan crises, because they're leveraged, right? Banks are leveraging it. The credit unions are leveraging. Everybody was leveraging, selling paper, doing all this stuff, because where else are you going to be able to buy a house for 70 grand, and then all of a sudden the next year it's worth 90? That's, I mean, that's insane. When things used to be worth 70 grand, and then the next year it's worth 71. I mean, yeah, that's about it. 1%, 2%, 71, 4. So there's no, but this 70 and then 90, then 90, then 100, 2 years, $30,000 equity. People sell their house, move somewhere else where the homes are only 70 grand still. So you had this massive migration, because you could buy a house in Cali that appreciated higher, and then move anywhere else in the country and pocket 100 grand, 50 grand. and put that into the stock market and live off the interest, or put it into Fidelity, or put it into whoever you wanted to, because they didn't have to do anything. So that's why the baby boomers have most of the wealth. Trillions of dollars is about to change hands, and people do not have another wealth tool. They do not have any asset protection plan. They don't have any trust. They're being told to put it in a will. Do not do that, ladies and gentlemen, because that means it goes to the courts, and therefore you're going to need lawyers. And lawyers, as soon as they find out what you have, there goes your, if you have hardly nothing, 5 grand, please, for the probate. If they find out you got real assets where all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, this dude, $3-4 million he's about to pass down. Oh, I'm sorry, your probate, it's 10. I need 10 to 15 G's right now, and it might escalate. And then they know, how many siblings do you have? Oh, you got 4 or 5. Great. Because he knows there's going to be arguments. And those arguments means he gets to charge you more money when he goes to court. Just keep all these things in mind. That's why you don't want a will. You better have a trust. Even if you have to do I don't like it, but a pour over trust, where you have an actual living trust and then you pour over into another type of trust after you pass away. But, it is what it is. Or you set up business trusts. You could set up different trusts based on specific things separately. Just saying, to protect it. You could set up LLCs as well, and then have whoever runs it, you already have it just like you would a trust. If I'm not around to run it, then you can pass it down and put who you want to direct it, just like anything else. So you can easily bypass the court system. Beneficiaries for insurance automatically get the money, bypass this court system. Bank accounts, put beneficiaries on there, automatically bypasses probate. Simple. It's not that hard, but a lot of people don't take the time, energy, and effort to do it. And then they're holding assets and they're trying to pass it down, but they can't. And they're dead and don't know that it's not being passed down, because there's an argument, there's a fight. And everybody needs their lawyers. Now the lawyers are going to attach your property if they don't get their money. Or the courts, they charge too. They're in it, especially when they see people who don't have an appetite and don't have the money to go to court, right? The courts, you don't know what country you live in, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Just saying. All right, let's go find out this blood work situation. I got to hear about this. Oh, no, come on. Ladies are out here getting their nails done. Now we got to deal with nail polish causing cancer. This is out of control right now. This gel nail polish remover has cancer-causing agents banned by the FDA. This is called Morovan gel nail polish remover. And it's from China. 4,000 bottles sold on Amazon. Jesus. And you guys wonder why you don't feel good out here. Look at all these products. You got your food supply messed up. You got stuff that you put on your body with all these cancer-causing agents. It's just people are like, how's cancer? How come they have way too much out here? This is terrible. Okay. I don't see the blood one though. Okay, there you go. Everybody who's watching, no matter which platform, hopefully you guys are getting this. You need to tell your family, friends, loved ones. This is insanity right now. Insane. Okay, I don't see the blood yet. Humanoid robot, 4 ongoing, cough drops, sold across FDA. 33,000 Corvette units recall for rear turn signal failure, though that could be an accident waiting to happen. Robinhood, Webull jump after US SEC approves removal of day trading limit for small investors. Oh, they're setting the stage. setting the stage to get more money into the stock market by reducing this limit. How sweet of them. How nice are these guys? This is insane. How nice. I can't find the blood one. Where's the blood one? Oh, blood test. Oh, I actually, you weren't on. We talked about this the day you weren't on. The blood test where the DUI was fake in Georgia. Yeah, we already saw this one. Although people now watching may not have heard about it, but there were people. This is what they're out here doing. This is what the Georgia's pulling people over, talking about you're drunk, and they actually were not drunk. It was really 0-0, but hold on, let me find it again. That was a few days. It was like 4 days ago. Yeah, you already sent this one. Oh, this is bad stuff here. This is just all bad. Okay, Xanax recalls. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. I can't be on too much longer. We started a little bit. It's my fault, but hey, health. We have family members that's in the hospital. Gotta go. So that's why I speak quickly. It's my aunt, my loved one. So I kind of have a duty to make sure that whatever happens is not going to be because in the hands of these people that are doctors or nurses or anybody else, infectious disease and doing all kind of crazy stuff. In my mind, it's crazy. For them, they just go, "Oh, this is normal stuff we do." I'm like, dude, you could do better. I don't know what your normal is, but my normal isn't your normal. My normal is, here's the problem. You need to handle it right now. I don't need to hear whatever. We don't normally do this. Da 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 da. Did I say something? Is something wrong that we're missing? You by your own rules. Here's what you're supposed to do. I'm not asking for anything out the ordinary. I'm not asking you to go fix me some dinner or something, man. I'm asking you within your what you do, what's going on. And if I'm mistaken about what I'm saying, then let me know. But unfortunately for them, this isn't like the only rodeo in life. This is crazy. Like I said, I'm still pissed about the nurse not knowing in knowing that a person should not have blood thinners within a few hours of surgery and come up with this excuse about, oh well, heparin is out of your system in 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't really care. They're not going to give her surgery if you don't stop this before overnight. And he said, no, I can't. I'm not. I mean, I could have ordered it, but I was like, well, dude, they're not going to do it. So I was like, it's not going to happen. So sure enough, didn't happen. So now Friday comes for no reason. And all this other crazy madness wouldn't be happening either right now. But anyhow, let's get on with it. Oh, I got to get this off the screen. Hold on. We're talking about the house. Okay, anybody have any questions? The chat room's open. Let it be known right now. Now, let's get into some other real estate things because we always talked about Dominican Republic, but it can be anywhere in the world. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. That's fair enough. But what I want to know is that going to be good enough in this environment that the world is in now? Because you can't just go, I'm going to do short-term rentals because you don't know what the flow is going to be of tourism in 2 to 3 to 4 years from now, right? We don't know. We're having a map changed due to the Middle Eastern war. And we have talk where America is going to invade Cuba all of a sudden. Now, again, I don't know what that accomplishes because we actually have American territories. And America's not treating its citizens very well, in my opinion. So I'm trying to figure out why would you try to take over another country when you can't even take care of your own citizens right now? Not even handling your house biz, but you're worried about trying to take over somebody else's country for some strange reason, trying to run around the world and play police. Why don't you handle your house first? Then you can play police. But why play police on the back of your taxpayers? That needs to stop immediately. But anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox. Let's go. I'm having a problem with this. Here we go. Blood tests show hundreds of Georgians charged with DUI were sober. In case you missed it, and can you imagine all these people that were charged with the DUI had court cases and charges and what classes to go to, fines to pay, all that stuff that a lot of people didn't have. And they probably got, some of them probably got in trouble for not finishing whatever they had to finish. That's insane. Insane. But here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're dealing with out here. Not much help. Not much help. So one of the things where you're going to get help is your own help. Candlestick Trading Bible. I've already put that in. Next thing, you need a broker account. Two things. I will say TradingView. If you learned from there, I did not learn at TradingView. My friends had it always on their screen. That's one of the premier places for trading. They have brokers that they only allow. CoinEx is not one of them. And I'm not mad. I'm happy because I don't want to be with a regulated environment in the first place, because that's trackable. And it's going to get even more tracked because the United States government needs money. So that's why you need to protect yourself with your assets. When you have the wealth, you need to protect yourself with the assets. All right? Whether you're going to have a corporation, even if you had an LLC, it's a pass-through. But even if you had to go that route, that's better than nothing. Right? And then if you don't want to do the irrevocable, because that's a specialized case, right? That's very hard to, once you make that decision, it's almost in stone. It's hard to reverse, even though it's not impossible, but it's hard to reverse. All right. But those are the things that you need to be concerned about once you're doing your wealth accumulation. Or you can also go another side. Since we're talking about CoinEx, I put it in the chat room. If you do investments on the stock market and you do trading, and now you need to send your money somewhere, then CoinEx could be for you, because they use crypto to load, crypto to send down. The thing is, though, if you're on a central exchange, I've said this every live stream pretty much, then it's all trackable because they send the information to the IRS, right? So that's why the new card out called Bankus, guys, check it out tomorrow. It's starting to take off because people are actually using Bankus to make money. Because everybody you refer and who buys a card, you get 8 to 10%. Tomorrow they'll tell you about how you can make money from referring other people to Bankus. So I refer people, yes, but I haven't made really a video, which I should. But here you go. They have a Zoom calls tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So that should be good enough. You can show up there. They do answer questions. They'll sit there and answer questions. So sign up now. Please use the link. Download the app, because you do have a crypto debit card. You can make money by referring people. And if some of those people refer people, then you both make some commission. You buy the card. Whoever buys the card makes commission. It's a money-making venture. So there's people signing up, hundreds of people. But my thing is, it's outside the United States jurisdiction once again. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, you guys don't understand. When you travel, you could open up bank accounts and everything outside the United States is what you should do if the country allows it. And so the other factors are, this is why the rich have offshore bank accounts, offshore businesses, so they never have to bring the money onshore to America to pay taxes. Are you getting the picture? All right. And this is why they always use shell companies to mask who owns the company, right? Once again, wealth protection. Doesn't have to be just for the wealthy. It's for you, the OCs. You just have to do it. You could do it yourself. It's not like you need permission from anybody. You just go outside the US, open up a bank account. If they allow it in the country, voila. Now, if you want to send money, like a perfect example would be, remember when I said you have a bank account outside the US, and instead of sending money to the US, you send money to that bank. Okay? It just can't be France if you're not a United States citizen. Okay, I'm sorry. Because the United States and France and the EU, they agreed to allow United States to go into United States citizens' bank accounts and take the money. They agreed. So I'm like, you guys just give up your sovereignty? Like, what are you doing? But anyhow, that's for another story, another day. I'm just like, what are you doing out here? And the worst part about the French thing is if a U.S. citizen is married to a French person, French citizen, and because you're married, if they want to take money out of the U.S. citizens, then the United States gets to take money out of the French citizen's bank account too. How cold is that? Yeah, a lot of countries signed up for this BS. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind, just saying. All right? Now, let's get back to the business at hand. This wealth building tools that you guys need. Asset protection. And one of those assets protections is to make sure your government has no way to grab your money, your crypto, or anything else if you can avoid it. Put it into protection zones. All right? Because these guys they're scandalous out here. They'll send people and say, hey, there's a judgment against you or some lawsuit against you that we're going to attach your wages. Trust me, man. These guys are doing all kind of crazy, and it's going to come to a head sooner or later. So far, it's not sooner. So you still have time to protect yourself. So go check out the Banker's card. It's in the chat room. Everybody on replay, you can always see it Tuesday and Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday are the Zoom live streams, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, and like today, it was Wednesday, and they have a training because after you download the app, some people have difficulty and don't understand. So they do training like Wednesdays, and I don't know about Friday, but they'll usually have one on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. So just stay tuned. And one of these days, I'm not usually, well, we're on almost what? Yeah, the days we're on, they usually have the Bankus meetings. Like Monday is Tuesday, and then Wednesday, like tonight, and then it's Thursday. So go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You can refer your friends, family, especially if you have people you're sending money to overseas. Just send it through the Bankus network. And then they instantly have it. If a person has a card, they can charge. They got their virtual card online. So don't need a card, so you can actually make payments online. So, I mean, there's all kind of advantages to you. And because I played professional poker, this all came to a head before. This is why it became very valuable. I'll say it again because a lot of people may not. It's not Friday night, so it's story night, but it's still story night all the time. So the problem ends up being the United States blocks the offshore online gambling rooms from the United States players. So get this, the land of the free, we can't send our money to play poker online anywhere we want in the world because they are offshore, Costa Rica, Malta, the EU. So it's not on the shore of USA. Plus they use some nonsense like, oh, we don't allow gambling because we have like horse racing that you can do gambling. They're trying to protect horse racing, dog racing or something. I was like, what are you? I was like, this is absurd. But then they used it. We want to protect the kids. I'm like, you're going to protect the kids? You guys don't care about kids. What are you talking about right now? Protect the kids. I'm like, you guys will starve them. What are you talking about? Okay, none. But the point is, that's the excuse they were using. We got to protect the kids. They got to be 18 or over. You got to make sure you can't make sure that a person that's gambling online is 18 and over. This is what they used. This is what our Congress used. Yes, I even sent letters. Just saying. I got responses back that was like, who's doing this? This can't be true. Who told you this garbage? So some 17, 16, 15-year-old kids got money and they're going to be playing online poker. And you're going to call that bad. I was like, do they have a job or so? I'm like, what? This is nonsensical. Nonsensical. But to them, I'm like, yeah, you know who wrote it? Some staffer, some little 20-year-old staffer dude that doesn't know nothing. But anyhow, they came up with all this. And then because you have to do port security in Congress for our ports in America, guess what they did? They attached this bill to the port security bill. And which congressman is going to say no on a port security bill? Right. Hardly any. So then it gets attached, not like a normal bill that's brought up and separate and all that. They attached it, it gets signed. Now all of a sudden they shut us off. And by the way, your debit cards, credit cards, bank accounts shut off. You can't send nor receive money from those designated areas. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They can call up MasterCard, Visa, Amex, anybody else, and tell them put a code in that does not allow United States citizens to send money or charge or anything. Banks, no wires. Oh yeah, you don't know where you live. So now they shut them off. But guess what happened? Some of us had things like Pioneer, NetTeller. We had cards that aren't from America. The poker rooms actually, not because of anything, they actually were like, hey, if you guys want to sign up for this debit card with a Visa MasterCard logo, we have one in the EU, in Costa Rica, in wherever, Malta. And so that's how it goes down. So since I played so long, I had all these cards that you could use, which were debit cards, but they're not in America. So now my winnings, I could send them my card and use the card. United States knows nothing about it. So therefore, you know what that means. Can't stop me from playing either, although I can't load anymore if I'm in America. But if I'm in Mexico, I can load money. I know, it's wild. Because the code is not from the USA coding, it's from Mexico. So it's not going to be blocked. How wild is that? So you don't know how this system works, but that's how it works. So a lot of poker players moved outside the United States and played online poker. Canada, Mexico, islands, because they were good at it. When you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in the confines of your house, you're you'll just be like, okay, let me take my laptop and my happy ass out this country and go sit on the beach somewhere, chill out, and make some money. You know, that's how funny this is right now. So that situation kind of still exists. They wanted everybody that's going to do poker to be regulated and all this garbage, so it never took off in America because they wanted to do state by state, all BS stuff. Instead of living in the land of the free where it's your money, right? You should be able to do whatever you want with it, right? Wrong. A broke country usually is going to holler, and they're going to need your money, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why I'm in protection mode all the time. And speaking of protection, I can't even talk about this other one. Wealth tools. I'm going to end it with that right there because it's 1 hour and 39 minutes and I started late. So I don't want you guys staying up any longer. I need you guys to get some sleep so you guys can be paying attention, whether it's overnight stock trading or daytime stock trading. But get in the game. Those are the wealth tools for tonight and for beyond tonight. You can make hay for the rest of your life with just some of the things that we talked about tonight. Also, last wealth tool, get some land. When property values go down like they are now, people are dropping properties on their sales all over the country because the feds are not going to reduce the interest rate. That's first thing, which does not have anything to do with the rates in reality, although it kind of does, because if they drop the rates, then their friends get to do in-house financing. So then they can make sales, because then they can say, well, we'll give you in-house financing for 4.5%, because they are able to get a 3.5% loan. They'll take that 1%. And when they don't do that and they're about to increase it, now they can't do their own in-house stuff. Now they have to do what the 10-year yield on treasuries say. So if it says 4.2 plus they want an extra 1.5, that means the best case scenario 5.9, 6.2. That's not low enough. It has to be 4.5 is the trigger point for people to start buying houses again. And they're not going to drop the interest rate. They're going to increase their interest rate first of all. So it's going to cost people more money either way, because it's 3.3% inflation, 3.4% inflation. So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. But make sure you give it a one piece on the way out, that you like the video. That would be greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, please do so. We're going to have some member-only stuff coming up probably in the month of May. That's when it's going down. And it's just doesn't even matter. We're going to be in the back, have our own little live stream talking about real estate or whatever. Members only can be in. That's it. All right. So we'll be talking about a lot of things. But the point is, we're going to go a little smaller on the membership trail. And if you're still not a subscriber, please do so. And just remember, no matter what happens, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen, but it could get harder. This little oil situation, it could get worse. Red Sea should be shut down about now. Has it shut down yet? Because we were talking about this on Monday. Somebody's playing chess, somebody's playing checkers. Red Sea should be next. So is there any happenings in the Red Sea? Has that been shut down yet? Because that is the final phase of some fallout. And basically, since we're going to be playing chess, that means other countries are going to have to determine who the bad guys are and who the good guys are. And unfortunately, more of our allies are figuring who the bad guys are, because the alleged bad guys, Iran, did not attack anybody. All they kept getting was, we get our oil, we're good. What are we doing here? You two guys are the problem. You're stopping our world order. You're stopping it right now. You're messing things up. And it's you two, not us 20. You two. You're affecting 50 of us. You two. See, you don't want to be that minority when you got 50-1 type of stuff, where you got like 200 countries going, what are you two doing? We need our food. We need our oil. We need our ships to come here. What are you two doing? This was unnecessary. Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Protect yourself out here, because you never know what's going to be safe. We have a rogue nation. You have a safe deposit box? Google safe deposit box and the federal government taking stuff. Okay? You think you're safe. You think your house is safe with a safe in it. See what's up with that when the police roll up and want to get in, or the feds roll up and want to get in. All right? Just saying. And most people are under the impression that you must be doing something illegal for the feds to roll up on you. I have bad news for you. They can say you're doing anything illegal, so therefore they can roll up on you. Do you understand? They can say that you're doing something and roll up on you and do what they want. You can take them to court, though. Good luck. You better have a badass attorney, though, if you do that, because there's some black box stuff you can do and you have a badass attorney when the government's effing with you. But I won't get into that. They're not effing with me right now. Or are they? You guys, you know who I'm talking about. Don't be naive out here, ladies and gentlemen. Just be safe out here. You never know. People are under stress, duress. You don't know what their conditions are right now. Because when you have 8 out of 10 people living paycheck to paycheck, and now it's going to rise even further, you're going to have a problem with society. So protect yourselves at all costs, and no matter what you do, make sure you always keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.